What's up, guys, and welcome back to Planet Coaster 2. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like on the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. In the last episode, we completed 2 out of the 3 of our new go-kart tracks. Okay, another ghost notification. Not actually tied to any of our guests, though some of our guests are thirsty. Too bad. We're not working on that today. Sorry, guys. We need to add some finishing touches to our main track right here. And in addition to that, we'll also be hopefully finishing the Woody, a very appropriate name, knowing what we know now. Again, my childhood is ruined. So previously, I just didn't have quite enough time to finish the little red roof structure that's supposed to sit on top of the tunnel right there. And then we also need to figure out some way to have a staircase on this side and a staircase over here with a path, hopefully above the station, that doesn't look terrible and like clip through the ceiling at all. I have a feeling that's gonna be a little challenging, but I'm up for the challenge, right? We always are. Okay, now many guests are hungry. You guys. There are so many different places to eat. It wasn't an issue before. Now all of a sudden, anyways, like I said, we're not going to worry about that. We are going to pause things so people don't die of thirst and or hunger. And I think the first thing that I want to work on is this little red roof structure over here. I already know it's going to be a little difficult to create because the only like corrugated metal looking roof we have available is going to be this one right here. And if you notice, it's pretty much the same size as the pad. And the shape that we need is basically if this were 50% smaller. We need it to be like this, but smaller. Obviously, that's not going to work. So the other alternative is a custom roof. But I also don't really like the idea of doing that. So I think I'm going to commit to just having the roof be slightly larger than the base structure itself, and we'll kind of have it overhang on top of the track just a little bit. I feel like it might look pretty good. Another idea that a couple of you had, or maybe just one of you, I honestly can't remember, is adding some lifeguards. Not the lifeguard towers, more along the lines of like these, like along the track every so often, so it just kind of looks like we have the additional staff around the track like the actual park really does. Again, we're trying to sort of base all these tracks off of an actual track that exists, appropriately named The Track. Again, if you missed the previous episodes, make sure to go back and watch them so you kind of get up to speed on what it is we're trying to accomplish here. But I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna try to finish this thing out. What we need for this are some wooden beams, but they need to be pretty thick. Well, how thick are these? Oh, you know what? Oh, let me turn my light on too. That'll help kind of illuminate things a little bit better. That might work. There are also sort of some of these like angled beams that add a bit more, you know, pizzazz to the overall structure. So I'm wondering if we couldn't scale this down, and maybe that would work a little bit better for us. Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay, so that's not the one that I want to use for the uprights. I think we're probably going to want... Oh my god, it's going to do that again. I think we're probably going to want something a little bit taller like this. And then I'm not going to worry about, like, snapping it to the edges. I think I'm just gonna manually move these things around wherever we need. The wood color I know is a little bit lighter than this. I'm thinking something like this, and then there's an additional brown color here. Oh, that just changes the ends. Okay, so we want those 2 browns to be identical then. So we'll copy that one. Perfect. All right. We are in business. Again, we're just going to sort of drag this around and place it wherever we need it to be. So I'm going to leave it a little bit on the inside of that base plate that we have, and we'll do the same thing on this corner here. I think that looks pretty solid. Drag it over here. We'll do the same exact thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know? Realistically, no one's going to be paying close enough attention to this building anyways. It is a pretty decorative structure, I'll be honest. Let's try to get it as close as we can to this too, without it looking terrible. Maybe something like that, so the railing still is visible. You know, we don't want to cover that up. Ideally, I would get rid of the railing here, but the way that the track works, if you get rid of one side, it gets rid of the other, and then we'd have to create a custom railing, and it would become a whole thing, right? So we just need this other one here on the end. And then I want to say there's some additional supports as well. Probably just one more down the center. And then I think we'll be good. It's nice that we have these grid lines. We can kind of use that to line this up. Again, just kind of getting it as close as we can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll delete this guy here in the middle. Probably, let's probably drag that out and have a matching one over here. Nice and simple. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Now for railing. I'm going to see if there is... Okay, they're called fences, aren't they? I'm going to see if there's something that we can use that kind of looks close enough. It's obviously got to be wooden, though. Wait, what? Okay, so you know what I was talking about with the like, angled sort of additional supports? This would be great if we could scale it up. But it also does sort of have that Viking aesthetic to it, which is not the look that we're going for. I'm curious, though. I just want to see, just for testing purposes, what that would really look like. And then if we duplicated that and slid it over here, I kind of really like that. Hang on, though. What we need to do now is drag it over to the left so we can see, again, size-wise, sort of where it lines up. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's the wrong look. If it didn't have the sort of Viking-looking stuff up on the top and the odd-shaped support pieces here, I would probably use it. We're gonna continue going the custom route, though. Anyways, back to looking for a dang fence here. I'm already getting a little distracted. We have this one. It's got some metal on it. Really, it just needs to be wooden. The mythology one has some stuff on it that, again, we probably don't want. There's gotta be something in here. What about this? If it were all square and not round, I think that would be the one. Okay, custom fence it is, I suppose. In that case, let's go back to our support search here. And we'll see if we can't find something that would work for that. Okay, so we'll use that sort of for like the handrail of the fence. And then we just need like a thinner sort of support piece. And to hopefully give us the proper spacing that we're looking for, I really am just going to duplicate these things over and over and over again. And then we'll delete the ones that are in between. We've got the handrail up on top now. So I want to see how would it look if we got rid of maybe every two like this. So that's what we're gonna try just real quick so we can sort of get a feel for it. I'm really hoping that it just meets perfectly in the middle. Otherwise, we're gonna have to delete like every other. You know what I mean? Uh-oh. I mean, we could do that. That doesn't look super weird, right? It looks really... I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. Okay, so let's try, in that case, deleting every other. All of this just for a custom fence. I know, seems a bit ridiculous, but we're going to split that from the building. That way we can kind of duplicate this around a little bit easier. And we just need to try to get it to line up. Okay, so I'm noticing that our center point wasn't very centered at all. We're gonna try to edit this building and just kind of slide this column over slightly. Hang on, I'm going about this the wrong way. I lined that up with this pole here on the track fence. So we're gonna leave that one. And what we're gonna do instead is just kind of move the fence. Or not move the fence, move the, well, we are gonna move the fence, but move the, columns. Yo, I didn't get any sleep last night, alright? Cut me some slack today, please, if you wouldn't mind. We've got bats in our attic. For real. Quite a few of them, by the sound of it, and they kept me up pretty much all night. They were just hooting and hollering and chattering away. It's a little spooky. We've only had one actually make its way inside of our house, which was scary, but that hasn't happened since. I was basically on guard, making sure that they didn't find their way in yet again. Not great. It's not great when that happens. We're gonna add another fence just in the middle here, for the sole purpose of making sure that all of our columns or pillars, whatever you want to call these things, are equal distance. Now we can just delete that guy. There we go. So obviously I've decided now to sort of have the whole structure kind of overhang onto the just the side of the track. You know, the go-karts are never gonna come into contact with those posts, so I'm not super worried about it. But now that we have that done, I'm tempted to try the roof next, so we can see how that's gonna look. It's big. It is a big roof. So what we're gonna do is select that whole thing, split it from the building, and then we can kind of just drag it up to wherever we think we need it. God, the overhang's gonna be insane, and it's not really quite wide enough, is it? So in that case, I'm pretty sure there's an eave or something that we could use. We're gonna split the whole roof structure in half, and I'm gonna slide this out a little ways, maybe to like right there. We'll do the same thing with this side. I'm really trying to kind of talk through what it is we're doing today. I know I don't usually do that. Just trying to make an effort, you know? So let's edit this. And then what we need are these. It should line up, yeah, and look like a regular roof, which is perfect. So let's try... Oh no, the grid's gonna be weird though. What if we make it real small? Of course. Of course, okay. We're gonna have to split it again in that case. So these two will now be their own separate structure. And we'll add some additional eaves to this side. Do that. We're basically doing this to try to make it a little bit wider. And then now we'll take this one and line it up as close as we can get it to the center of that guy right there. I think I'm going to try to move them all at the same time so we can really get the height dialed in, like as close as we possibly can. But we can drag this over just until it meets like so. And then we'll have to change the color of this thing to red, of course. That's kind of the whole idea behind this. God, I just wish that we had this corner piece here, but a little smaller. That would be nice. It looks pretty wide. It really does look pretty wide. So using multi-select now, let's grab this one, and this one. Confirm. Oh yeah, I forget. We can hit C for that now, can't we? And we're just gonna drag this out. Maybe to... Let's keep going. Right about there, maybe? Does that look pretty close to the center? I don't know why I'm asking, as if you could answer in real time. Right there, I think. I don't think that looks bad at all. We're probably going to want some additional supports like around the roof though, so it doesn't look so weird on the inside. And then the sort of angled bits in the corners, of course. We'll do that here in a moment. Let's see about changing the color of this roof though. The real one is pretty bright red. Maybe we just tone that down slightly. I mean, we already have almost a neon yellow roof for the main structure over there. Oh, I should have selected all of them. Wait, I can't because they're separate. They're separate buildings now, technically. There we are. Let's do the same. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do it for all of these. All right, that's fine. That's fine. And thankfully, we do have a very small ridge cap for this roof, which is nice. So let's set that up in red first before we go around duplicating it a whole bunch. Oh, you know what? No, it's probably easier. It would align better if we did it this way. So I'll have this one. Make sure we change the color of it, and then just one more right yonder. After we get the color changed on this, ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a red roof. Again, it's quite a bit larger than I was hoping for, but I still think it works. I think it works pretty dang well, honestly. So next, I'm gonna try to like finish out the interior portion of this by just editing this building. We'll duplicate a couple of these beams and just sort of rotate them so they're horizontal, and start placing them around. All right, the under roof sort of substructure, if you want to call it that, is now finished up. So what I'm going to do next is try to grab... Okay, it's going to select the roof every time, isn't it? Let's use multi-select then. And then we'll deselect this guy. I want to duplicate this one on the end, but then swap it out for the shorter one. Whoops, we're under roofs. That's not going to help. So we need this guy. And then if we just kind of rotate that at a 45-degree angle. Is that 45? Sure. Sure it is. And we'll change our axis again. Oh, this is going to look perfect. So all we need to do is just slide that up until the edge is kind of hidden there. And then same thing for this. We're just going to slide it back to right about there. I like that. I like that a whole lot. We do have to change the color, of course, but now we have something that we can just sort of duplicate around to the other pillars. And then I think at that point, we're done. Honestly, I thought we were going to have to scale these angled supports down a little bit to make it look right, but that looks fantastic. Having just seen the real park from Google Earth's Street View in the previous episode, I feel like if you go back and look at the red roof structure, we kind of nailed it. The roof is obviously too large. We're just, you know, we're trying to make it work. We really are. But I am very, very happy with the way that that thing turned out. So now that we have that done, we need to turn our attention to the main structure over top of the station for these carts. And we need to try to figure out a way to add a path up here, like I said before, without it clipping through the bottom and looking like absolute garbage. So to do that, here's what I'm thinking. We'll use our stamp builder tool, and we're just gonna try to eyeball it. We're gonna elevate it off the ground so it doesn't do anything super weird. But I'm thinking it's gotta be 3 or 4 path pieces wide. So we'll use our multi-select tool. Select that whole deal. We can confirm with C. Really, really like that. Solid addition. Let's see how that's lining up. Honestly, not bad. Hang on. I mean, let's try it, right? What do we have to lose? I knew it. I knew it was gonna do some weird stuff. Honestly, though, I feel like since these... Oh my good lord. Let me just change my camera view, or camera mode. Since these are so dang thick with like 3 C's, I don't think it looks terrible, especially if we had the path continue all the way across. It would kind of look natural-ish. How's our height, though? Oh, mint. I didn't want to see the path texture whatsoever, so that works. Now we just have to kind of, you know, somehow edit this path. Can we even do that? Oh, stamp tool is going to allow us to lock in. Dude, that's beautiful. Okay. So yeah, we'll just kind of bring this all the way across, and then hopefully, whoops, let me change my camera mode again. Hopefully when we get to the other side, it'll line up pretty well. Otherwise, we're gonna kind of have to adjust it just a little bit further. It's looking pretty good though. It is looking pretty good though. All right, so the edge of the path kind of clips through the wall a little bit. How we looking underneath though? Yeah, not bad at all. Honestly, I think I can live with that. And even if we did slide the path over just a little bit, I mean, this little sliver right here is all the room that we have to work with. Even if we did move it over, I have a feeling either this side is gonna clip through or this side is gonna clip through. So we'll call it good, right? We'll call it good. Now, we gotta try to figure out a staircase for this bad boy. Okay, tell me that's just because we have this distributor right here, and that's why it did some weird thing. Also, hang on, I want to check our heat map here for our scenery score. Okay, so the distributor doesn't seem to be decreasing our scenery score, yet for all three of these tracks, the scenery rating is still 0%. Even after we've, you know, closed the game and relaunched it like a few days later, it's still chilling at 0%. These are going to be the only distributors then that will lower into the ground. Our mechanics don't need to maintain these things whatsoever. They don't need to access them. Really? Really, dude? Do they just have to go further than that? I don't want a divot around the whole thing. I think that looks really bad. Let's just put it even further down. Okay, it's gonna do it again. Awesome. Cool. So smack dab in the middle of the track it is. There we go. So everything will still get power like normal, and now we just can't see the thing, though it does seem to be giving off some sort of a glow, maybe? That's okay. Oh, no, you know what? It's probably these... It's probably the start-stop lights. So we're good. All right, back to the staircase. I kind of feel like I'm rambling today. Sorry, again, didn't really sleep. This doesn't look too bad. We might even be able to just leave it that wide. As long as we line it up in the center of the opening, it might be fine. What we do have to do is move a couple of these trees and bushes and things kind of out of the way. That's not a good look. I wish we could change the color of the painted railing. Oh. I guess we can? I wanted it to be chrome though. How does this look? That's better. You know what? Because it doesn't change the curb color like the other one did. But yeah, how do you adjust the... Oh, there it is. Okay. So we have the asphalt, which is what we wanted. But now we need that chrome color that we used for our fencing up here. So let's see if we can't just snag that real quick. This time for sure. That is white. So it's not metallic like our other railing, which means we're just gonna keep messing around with the color until we get it exactly right. That's better. That's better. You know what? I think we can work with that. It's silvery. And there we go. We got us a staircase. We do have to kind of do the exact same thing though to the opposite side. So I'll see you guys here in just a sec. And just like that, the deed is done. I think it looks fantastic. The only thing I wish we maybe would have done is made the staircase a little bit more narrow. But I've decided not to do that just because the only way that we're able to make that happen is by using the edit tool. But there's no way to like keep everything in line. You know what I'm saying? Like if there were a way to sort of keep it snapped to a grid, I would probably just try to make it work. But I don't really want to go through all the trouble, honestly. I mean, then both sides wouldn't be mirror images of each other, and that would drive me absolutely bonkers. Something that we didn't do previously as well is the catwalk. The actual track, that's the name of the place, the track, does have a little catwalk back here, so I think I'm gonna spend just a couple extra minutes and see if we can't get that to work as well. See if we can just bring this out. Oh, nice. And it'll give us, well, we probably don't want that railing. We should use the same railing that we have everywhere else. But just gives, you know, parents or other guests in the park a little bit better vantage point of the rest of the track. We're gonna have to use slightly different sort of faux railing connections in between them. If we don't have that, there's a space in between the railing and it doesn't look all that great. So I've opted in to use like the same beams that we used on the other structure. We recolored them so they'd match everything else. I think it looks just fine, but they are a little too high up. So I'm just gonna lower all of them and hopefully it ends up looking halfway decent. The very last thing that we need to do to this is add sort of a custom support column right over here, and I'm just gonna sink another one of these a little bit further into the ground. If I remember right, that's really all the IRL version of this had, was just kind of one additional support out there. I really dig it, dude. I really, really dig it. So that now, finally, ladies and gents, is the main track all finished up. We've got our little red roof structure out here. Or wait. I'm kind of jumping the gun here. What we need to do next, real quick, is add some of those lifeguards kind of around these two tracks for sure, and then we can get started on the Woody. Okay, never mind. So turns out you can only place a lifeguard, and I guess this makes complete and total sense if you think about it. You can only place them on a path, and since we don't have any paths where we'd like to put the lifeguards at, it's just not gonna happen. That's okay though. That's okay. Whoever it was that had the idea, fantastic idea, truly, but it's just not gonna work for what we have going on here. So let's finally get going on this one. It's gonna be tricky, and I think to get us going here, we're gonna have to edit the track slightly, because I noticed when we were doing our Google Earth Street View sort of walk around, it seems like the coil on this side is a little bit tighter, and then on this side it's less tight and actually has sort of two big dips that bring it back down to this surface level. So if we do this right, we might be able to get rid of the chicane as well, since we'll, you know, have some sort of hill action. So let's try that first. I'm gonna delete this, honestly. Really? The game crashed as soon as I started editing the track. Man, come on. And we're back at the most recent autosave. So I do have to do the whole catwalk thing all over again, but that's okay. That's okay. I did also get pulled away there for a minute because someone new is trying to claim the outro song that I've used in all of my videos for years as their own, which they can't do. I know I've talked about this so many times in other videos as well, but that is a violation of the GarageBand software license agreement. You would think that people would just kind of know this, but no, you can use it commercially in a YouTube video, for example, but you cannot claim a compilation of loops as your own creation. Takes a couple of clicks in the software to create the exact same compilation. It took no effort whatsoever, so I don't know how people think they can just get away with... Man, it just makes my blood boil. Really just makes my blood boil. But I'm gonna try to remain unaffected and in good spirits and stuff and things. I really should just get rid of it altogether. I mean, I don't even know how many of you guys make it to the very end where you hear the outro music. It's just frustrating. It really is just frustrating. Another thing too is now that they've tried to claim it on one video, Even this video, they're gonna try to claim as well. Okay. Editor Toogii, are we good? We've got audio still, hopefully, maybe? Looks like we do anyways. If I swore just then, please remember to bleep that. It's just not my day, I guess. First, I'm up all night because bats in the attic, and then somebody tries to claim my outro song for like the millionth time. I don't even know how many times I've had to dispute that now, and I just about fried my audio interface with water. We're still gonna remain in good spirits though. We're gonna try anyways. Okay, before we start working on the Woody, we're gonna hit another manual save just in case something weird happens again. And now we've gotta delete that portion of the track, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I think this looks so much more like the real thing now. Like the two spirally bits are much closer together on that side. Actually, I think we only had one spiral before, so that's been adjusted. And then same thing over here. Now we kind of have those two big hill sections at the end, so we could kind of justify getting rid of the chicane bit. And then I spent quite a bit of time just sort of smoothing out the tip. I mean the return section of the track, and I think it looks considerably better. Wait a minute. You know what I just remembered? What about all those like bulbous looking lamppost things? The orange and yellow lampposts. We still haven't even looked in to see if we can even make those. So I'm gonna do that before we continue working on the Woody. No way. Dude, this is about as close as you can get. Hang on, can we change the color? What a thing of beauty. What a thing of beauty. Okay, I want to say they were a little bit darker gray, maybe something like that. And then let's just duplicate another to make sure that we can match that same sort of orangey color as well. Okay, I need to, now that we have these, I need to spend a few minutes kind of sprinkling them around, basically just the path sort of around each track. This is gonna look nice. It's taking longer than I want it to because, you know, I have to make sure that they're all evenly spaced all the way around. So I'm gonna do something to kind of help with that, or at least I hope it'll help with that. But I'm gonna add railing. That way I can kind of use the railing to align the lamps, if that makes sense. With all of the bad stuff that's already happened today, you know, the bats in the attic, the copyright claim, me spilling water on my audio equipment, these light posts here are the one thing that's giving me joy. Which does seem kind of sad on the surface, but I feel like they're such a key part of the track that without them, it just wouldn't feel like the track. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really glad that we didn't have to like make custom lampposts. It really was as simple as just dragging in an existing item and just changing the color of the light. I do want to see how it looks though at night before we move on to finishing this thing up. And by this thing I mean the Woody, of course. But look at that, dude. It looks incredible. And I hadn't really gotten a chance to look at the lights underneath some of these bridges or tunnels or whatever the heck they are. It's perfect. I do need to rework some of the lights on this structure still, but I am so incredibly happy with how that turned out. And the spacing is fine. You know, some are closer than others, but I'm going to try to not pay too much attention to that because I will go through and space them out accordingly. But anyways, let's go ahead and keep trucking on the Woody over here. So now that we have the track looking much more accurate, in my opinion, the next thing that we need are some nice, thick wooden columns. And they have to go like all around this thing. We might we might be able to use, like, these columns. They came in a round variant. We'll see if we could grab those and just scale them up. I've got the color changed to that same sort of driftwood-esque color that we were using on the little red roof building over there. But let's see how they would look at 300% scale. I think that's gonna work. I really do think that's gonna work, dude. Here's the procedure, all right? Some of them, like these three here, we are gonna have to keep a little bit shorter just because the track on the top side, starting around this location, starts to, you know, change its angle slightly. But everywhere else, this is what I've been doing. Basically, we take this existing pole, we rotate it just a little bit, just a tiny bit, and then we bring it out so that it kind of covers up the railing posts. Drag it out so the railing's, you know, roughly in the center of this new wooden column. And then up at the top side, we just kind of lower it down just until that little pylon, little post isn't visible anymore. And then we just keep working our way around. It is gonna take a considerable amount of time, but I kind of expected that, you know?
3 hours later.
I don't even want to look at the clock, dude. I genuinely don't want to know how long this has taken me, but our end result is phenomenal. It looks so much like the real thing. It's honestly insane. So, what we need to do next is go through the entire track, and we're just going to get rid of those red supports. And then I think, yeah, that'll help even more. Okay, I'm liking it. Next, though, let's back out of this. I want to change the color of the railing if we can. And also maybe like the side of the track here. I feel like then it would really sort of seal the deal. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's railing done. And then I'm guessing it's this one. It's a little light still, but maybe we can work with that. Or we could try to darken it up a little bit. It's probably never gonna match perfectly. I stand corrected. We just weren't really in the right area. Let's kind of go into the sunlight a little bit. That way we can really dial it in. Still kind of too orange. Right about there, I think. That looks phenomenal. Dude, again, if you go back to the previous episode and you watch even just the Google Earth Street View portion of that, and then come back to this and compare it to how it looks, it's nearly identical. I mean, it's never going to be exact, right? But this is as close as I think we're going to get to it. I just can't believe that. My only regret is that I didn't think to try to recreate these tracks sooner. Though I am glad that we sort of waited for Planet Coaster 2 to do this. I think we have better tools. There's slightly better options for scenery pieces and things. Not to mention the whole scenery paintbrush. Speaking of which, that's what we're going to tackle next. So I'll see you guys in just a few more minutes.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Now that is more like it. Dude, here I am thinking we're about done for the day, but I kind of forgot that we still have to build a whole station over top of this. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm not gonna really talk about it much. Again, in the previous episode, we went through and kind of walked around. We know exactly how the building needs to look. All I have to do now is make it look the part, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it again. We have so much scenery, so much happening now that the frame rate is starting to drop just a little bit. But something that I noticed when I was working on this roof is we have some new pieces at our disposal. So before, when you would make a roof like this, they had the eave on the sides and on the bottom, right? But they never included the tiny little piece that should go here. Now though, we've got it, and it made the roof look so much nicer. The only thing that's not exact to the real version of this building is, if I remember right, the wall here was vertical plank, not horizontal, but it's about as close as it's gonna get. It is kind of a lighter, sort of pale yellow color, so I was glad to see that was already an option in the color swatches. But it's perfect. The last thing that I want to see about real quick is to see if they have traffic lights. Maybe if we just type light in here, we might find something. I feel like I remember seeing like a stoplight of some sort. But now I don't think I'm gonna have any luck finding it. I did already look through the lights and I didn't see one in here. I suppose you could make a custom one out of like the spotlights or something, potentially. Yeah, I swear I saw one of these at some point when we were looking through the catalog. But now I'm not seeing it. And on that bombshell, that is unfortunately where we're gonna have to wind things down at for today. But once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.